Welcome to this analysis of the catechetical elements of the Value of Life project. Hi, I'm Brian Shields with Lumen Entertainment. In this video, we'll present you with a concise outline of our new catechetical media series that educates kindergarten through 12th graders. The series is based on the Church's teachings of social doctrine rooted in the gospel of life. Our first installment in the series is an animation titled Skiff and AJ's Fantastic Voyage. Now, some of the elements of the animation you will see in this presentation are still in a draft version, simply because the lighting and the coloring of the movie is in the final phase of the production process, which we're now just entering into. Now let's look at the educational elements interwoven into this highly entertaining animation. First, let's start with the project overview. We believe the dignity of the human person is due to the living God, our Creator. This series will reveal the sanctity of all life, from conception to natural death, from the rich to the poor and the outcast. Our ultimate desire is to increase each person's ability to respond to his vocation and hence to God's call. The mission of this first show is to inspire and educate young Catholic children and their parents on the sanctity of all life. Just as a student has to master the building blocks of numbers before they can equate calculus, in the same way, we are first establishing why people are sacred. Once strongly rooted in the transcendent dignity of man, the long-term goal of the series is to instill a profound understanding of the social doctrine of the Church in harmony with all her theological heritage. Our first installment in the Value of Life project is an animation titled Skiff and AJ's Fantastic Voyage. This will be done in an age-appropriate manner for kindergarten through 3rd graders. And we are starting with the youth because by the age of 9, their moral foundation is in place. And we chose the medium of animation because of its powerful impact and the ability to reach large numbers of people. I find that I learn best and retain more when the subject matter is presented in an entertaining way. And that's why we've brought together a team of artists that have worked on these blockbusters. A-class talent, a fun, action-packed show. As artists, this is our chance to be extravagant for the Lord. Here's the storyline. There are actually 2 shows on the DVD, Skiff and AJ's Fantastic Voyage and Dr. Tom Stanley's live production. Now, the first part is the candy. When the altar objects, Skiff the incense boat and AJ the aspergillum, test drive their homemade time machine, it shrinks them to that size, and a pregnant lady mistakenly inhales the wannabe time travelers. Soon, the 2 encounter an extra special being dwelling within the mother.
We come in peace.
Skiff and AJ begin to communicate, start a new friendship, and learn about baby's life in the womb. Without enough power to launch their ship back to the outside world, Skiff and AJ find themselves stranded. And only the baby can save them now. But if he does, he may never see his new friends again. Now, in the Dr. Stanley portion, for the past 15 years, pediatrician Dr. Tom Stanley has been captivating the hearts of parents and children as he presents the concept of what is value and how it relates to people. While a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, you only become well if you take the right medicine. And that is why it is very important to us that our content is in line with the church teaching. To assure this, moral theologian Father Edward J. Richard from Kenrick Seminary and pediatrician Dr. Tom Stanley have been our guides since the beginning of the screenwriting process. Now, let's look at the educational highlights of the story. Now, Dr. Stanley suggests that in order to understand why the destruction of life is wrong, it is at first important to embrace the value of life. So first, we establish what the word value means. Here's a clip of how the word value is explained in Dr. Stanley's portion of the program.
Finally, I reach for my wallet. Does that make you happy on the inside? You start thinking, geez, finally he's going to pay me. I want to go home. So I get out my wallet and I say, let's see. Well, Christopher, thanks for mowing my lawn. Here you go. Here's your pay. How do you like that? A piece of paper. What do you kids think about that? How would you like to get paid with a piece of paper for 5 hours of hard work? Well, let's just say instead of that, I went ahead and I pulled out a $20 bill instead. And I gave you that. Would that make you smile more? Let's see a smile. You will. It does make you smile, doesn't it? How come? What does this have that this doesn't have? Value, that's right. This is valuable. This isn't valuable at all, is it? Right? Okay, good guy. I'm going to take back the $20, okay? Go sit down, all right?
Once Dr. Stanley has established the meaning of the word value, he then correlates that to people and how they are valuable and gives examples of some.
But now I want to tell you about something else that's valuable. Not just things, because there are things in life you're going to find that are much more valuable than diamond rings or than $20 bills. So I'm going to tell you about some people I know that were very valuable. I had heard a lot of stories in the 70s and 80s about a lady named Mother Teresa. Have you ever heard of her? She found a place in India, a place called Calcutta, where the people were so poor and they didn't have food and they didn't have people that loved them and people that cared for them and people that cleaned them. Well, I read a wonderful story about her where she went out into the street one of the first nights she was there, and she found a man that was laying in the street and he didn't have any clothes on and he was real skinny and shivering, probably because it was cold, and his bones were shaking a little bit. And she looked down close to him, she looked in his eyes, and he was all cold, and she picked up his head and looked at him and looked at his eyes. And she said, all I saw was the eyes of Jesus. And they picked him up and they took him back to the convent where they stayed, the home, and they cleaned him up and gave him a bath and gave him some fresh sheets and gave him some soup to eat. And she said that he looked so happy. They woke up the next morning and went to see how he was doing, and he had died. But she said he died knowing that he was very important, very valuable.
At this point, the children understand that people are valuable, but then he proposes that there might be some valuable people in the audience.
And I always like to look in kids' eyes because I can tell when certain kids are valuable too. I've been real good at this, and when I go around classrooms, I touch kids on the heads that are valuable. So when I've walked in this room, believe it or not, I've spotted some of you guys are valuable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around the room and I'm going to touch those on the head that I spotted out as being valuable. And I don't want anybody to have any hurt feelings, okay? You really got to promise me you won't be jealous or have hurt feelings. But when you do stand up, I know you'll be surprised, but I want you to stand up and let everybody see, okay? So stand up if I touch you. So look me in the eye when I come around, please. And you, yes, you too. Stand up, please. Oh my goodness, I picked everybody. How could that be? How could you guys be as valuable as these wonderful people? Sit down for me, okay? You guys think I was joking? Do you think I was trying to be cute? No, not at all. Really not at all. It wasn't an accident I picked you. When I looked in each of your eyes, I saw a valuable person. I really did.
In the same way as the kids get tapped on the head, in the animation portion, AJ uses the time machine to recognize the baby's value.
I get it now. He might be small and live in this little place,
but he's still a person with value to infinity.
Infinity plus one.
And I can prove it to the lamb. Let's go back a month. Engage the time machine. Yep, still valuable. And the month before that? Oh yeah, still valuable. And the month before that? Yep, still valuable. And the month before that? Yep. And the month before that? Yep. Whoa! Too far back! Hey, you're smaller than me now. And still valuable.
Of course, the pinnacle moment is the first instance of life. Let's see how Dr. Stanley approaches the moment of conception.
I'm going to ask you which one of these you think is most valuable. Let's pick all these. Who would say that this is the most valuable? Does everybody think it's valuable though? Yeah? This one's valuable too, right? This one?
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Right, you guys are good. But you know what? I want to tell you something. I want you to listen very closely, okay? When God formed these babies, He made them very valuable, just like He did you. Remember when I tapped each of you on the head? Are you valuable just because I tapped you on your head today? No? You know what? I mean, listen to this because this is important. I want you to tell your mommies and daddies this, all right? Before you were born, before your mommy and daddy even knew they were going to have a baby, there was a tiny half cell from your daddy and a half cell from your mommy that came together. Your mommy and daddy didn't even know they were going to have a baby yet. Smaller than the tip of this pin. You need a microscope to see it. And at that very second when that cell was formed, that very second, God took time out of a very busy schedule. He's very busy. He took time to come down over your mother, and He breathed just like He did with Adam. And the breath went into you, into that cell. At that very second, you became a person and you became very valuable. At that very second, you had a soul.
Now, in the animation, this is one of the parts we are still working on. But here are some storyboards in this defining moment. We hope to transmit the overpowering love of God in His creation of our lives. In these storyboards, as AJ watches a symbolic cell of the Father in amazement, the Trinity in its beauty descends and envelops the cell of the Mother. And simultaneously, the three come together in an epic moment of creation.
This must be the breath of God moment.
Dr. Stanley told us how amazing and special God made each person, even in their mommy's belly, even when they were super small, teensy weensy. They were special. They just needed time to grow.
This first show is for grades kindergarten through 3rd, and the series will continue in the upcoming years with age-appropriate messages through the 12th grade. Now, some schools may have the resources to implement such a program as this, and for those schools that need help, we are working closely with the Knights of Columbus chapters to defray the costs. The mission of Lumen Entertainment is to enlighten and nourish with truth through the arts, and all the materials we produce are to serve Mother Church. I hope this has been helpful in understanding the educational elements of the Value of Life project. Thank you, and God bless you for your time.